Before we start the video, a large thank you to Codeman, Harris, Ryan, and Uli for their support on Patreon. I hope you guys enjoy the video. And a massive thank you to Halo Burner, Ryan Belland, and Fernando for their immense support of the channel this month on Patreon. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hello everybody, today we're going to continue our range combat AI, so let's just go in here now and make a new folder under AI attack actions. I'm going to make it called Archer, and I'm going to give it a basic attack. So I'm just going to clone the Knight's attack here, and then just drag it in there. I should probably give it its own name, because if I search it now in the project, it's going to look exactly the same, but you know what, that's fine. I've only got like 3 or 4 attacks, so this is okay. I definitely encourage you to name it something more unique, like Ranger _ attack 01 or whatever. I'm now realizing too, I called this dummy Archer, and I called this Ranger, so I'm going to have to change that in a moment. So let's duplicate our Knight animation controller and call it Archer. And then I am going to go to my Archer, or Ranger, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to drag that in there. So we're going to need to set up the blend tree, and I've done that a million times. So I'm going to just do a handful and skip it. You can delete both of these attacks on the animation tree, because or the animation layer, because we're only going to use the draw bow. Unless you want to give it more attacks, like maybe have them pull out a dagger or something if your player gets close. That could be cool. So I'm going to go here and change the attack 01 animation to bow _ draw 01, and untick is parryable because it's not parryable. I'm going to delete the blocking and just the blocking in general, locomotion, because we're not going to have this character block, but if you want to keep it, up to you. I'm going to put in my animations, so bow, 2-hand idle, and I'm using the bow animations from our Unity asset store page if you want to support the channel or the series. If not, I'm sure you can find other animations somewhere. You can probably get a bunch for free to MeXMO. So I'm going to put in my bow, walk, and run here on the blend tree, just setting up the blend tree like I've done probably a dozen times at least in the series now. So I'll just throw in a couple real quick and then fast forward to the end. You can copy my tree. I'm sure you know how to do this now, so you can do that yourself though. So I'll put in the bow, walk backwards, and then I will be right back to the magic of editing. Okay, there we go. Got all my animations in there. Now I'm going to go back to the action override state and make sure I got these transition steps. So here you can see it goes to fire after is holding arrow is false. So let's go and set up a network event for that. So on network spawn on the AI character manager, I know I'm going very fast by the way, just trying to fit as much as I can in this video. So we're going to say AI character network manager is holding arrow on value change plus equals, and this probably doesn't allow us to draw the on is arrow on is holding arrow. No, so let's go to the player network manager and take the on is holding arrow function and bring it back to the character network manager, because this is now a function that can be used on both our AI and player. And I believe it just, let me just check it before I go. Yeah, okay, so it just sets an animator bool from to whatever it is your is holding arrow boolean is set to. So let's go to the character network manager and literally just paste that in there and replace the player keyword with character, and then that will work on both the player and the AI character manager. I'll make it virtual too in case you want to override it and do some other fun logic on there. There we go, looks good. Save that now. Make sure you unsubscribe from the event on network despawn. I'm just going to put on is holding arrow changed, copy this, and then go down to on network despawn and unsubscribe when we despawn. Okay, looks good. Now, we have a way to update that, but we actually have to call the flag as well. So down here under draw arrow, whoops, wrong one, go to your AI Ranger Combat Manager. So we have down here, what are we doing? Right before we animate the bow, let's just do a check for owner. So we're going to say Ranger if is owner, then we're going to set Ranger dot, and I believe I said this in the last video, I wasn't sure what has arrow notched was for. That's actually for the bow's animator. So set that to true as well. We're using that so if you get hit and that flag is true, we make sure to destroy the arrow from the bow. So we're going to say has arrow notched is true and is holding arrow is true. And now let's make a coroutine here, because we're going to want to hold the bow for a minimum and maximum time. Make sure you say using system collections, because I don't want the character to fire the bow instantly. And now I am just ripping most of this from Nef, so I probably have to make a few changes, because I think the way we actually draw an arrow is a little bit different than Nef, so I'll cross that bridge when and if I get to it. So let's do a yield return new seconds wait time. Make this function require float time. That is the time you're going to wait before you shoot, basically. At the minimum time at least. Then we're going to say ranger.ai character network manager is holding arrow is equal to false. So let's go to the empty state first, just in case. And right here, when we come back, let's make sure we're setting our has arrow notched, or is holding arrow rather, just in case. It should automatically come out if you get hit and whatever, because it's reset on the effect reset function, I believe. But just in case, let's put it right here. So regardless, when we come back to the empty state, it's gone. Now let's go up here and make a header, not helper keyword, for, what am I going to call this? I guess we call it arrow aim. I'm just going to call it aim time, actually. Not going to be too picky about the name this time. We'll do serializable field float, and we want a minimum and maximum aim time. So obviously we're going to do a random between these two numbers. So we'll say minimum 1 second, and we'll say max 4 seconds. And I feel like that's pretty good. Okay, now down here we can do, if we're the owner, we're going to start a coroutine. Let's actually make a coroutine variable too, so we're not accidentally running this twice somehow. Okay, we're going to say if aim coroutine does not equal null, we're going to stop the aim coroutine. Otherwise, we're going to say aim coroutine is equal, or regardless, we're going to say it next, not otherwise. That would imply an else statement. We're going to say aim coroutine is equal to start coroutine, hold arrow for a time. And make sure you put those checks after the coroutine, or those flag sets. So is holding arrow and has arrow notch. And then we're going to pass random.range. I always want to put math F for random. I have no idea why. We're going to pass the minimum time to aim and the maximum time to aim. Okay, so this is going to have the unsavory effect of shooting the arrow right now, regardless if the character is looking at us or not. But I'm just going to test it real quick and make sure this bit is working. So we're going to make one more change to this coroutine. I'm going to put this in the coroutine as well, actually, if the has arrow notch is holding arrow. So first of all, let's go to our AI states, and let's make a state folder for our ranger, and let's duplicate all the night states, and just change the night keyword to ranger. And then set those up on the ranger, because in the next video, we're actually going to start making some more advanced logic for our pursue target and our combat stance states to let the AI do some more interesting things. Because right now, I think the archer is going to run right up to us because it uses our nav mesh agent stopping distance. And we don't want that. We want the archer to obviously see us at a distance and take shots at us, not sprint at us like a maniac and then stop when he's within 1 meter of us, then draw his bow. But that will most likely be in the next video. We'll do up a whole state set for that, like retreating after shooting an arrow, walking backwards, etc., etc. Let's drag in all of the states in the ranger / archer / whatever you called it prefab. And I think then we can start testing this in a moment. I know I'm forgetting something though. I'll name them ranger. Is team 2 they're supposed to be on, right? Let me just check. What's the night on? Not network. Let's go to the manager. Yeah, team 2. Okay. So I'm going to set him to team 2 so he actually tries to shoot me. Okay, going to my world, I set him up here to spawn. Now if I go in here, I've got a warning here saying I'm playing the wrong animation that doesn't exist. It's because I forgot to put my turns in on this animator, so I'm going to do that. Also, you can just disable pivoting for now if you want to don't want to drop any of those in, but I've done it. Okay, so let's jump back over to where we're in this coroutine here, and I'm going to yoink this straight from Neff. I've copied and pasted it. So let's make a bool for can fire, and while we can't fire, if the target is null, can fire is true, just ditch the arrow, don't wait. Otherwise, let's compare our viewable angle, and if it's, you can make a minimum maximum value for this if you want, but basically I want to make it so the character is looking at us, and optionally if they're at least a meter away, but you can alter this however you want. I'm basically setting up some specifications to where we can't fire the arrow until we're facing the target, and the target is at least greater than a meter away from us. So otherwise, then we're going to say if these things are true, can fire is equal to true, and then we finally say is holding arrow is equal to false. All right, let's go ahead now and just going to make sure this is all good. Check this over. Yes. Now I'm going to duplicate the draw animation because I just realized in this project we don't actually put the animation event on the animation. I forget how we actually set up our projectiles, but I need to call this on the AI, so I'm going to call it right there. I think we might have did it from a server RPC on this project, which is fine. Duplicate your animation and make sure you use the one with the animation event, otherwise you won't get all that nice logic that we just wrote. I'm going to come over here and go to bow draw and make sure I'm using the one I just made for the AI only. Boom, there we go, looks good. Now, I think I've made a silly mistake. You should not be calling the character animation here to draw the bow, otherwise you will end up in an infinite loop. That's my bad. Now if I come in here like so, Okay, that looks mostly good, except he's not able to rotate, and the arrow's in a bad spot. So let's adjust that. And he's just walking to the wall because he has no ability to rotate. So what I'm going to do is make it so he can rotate right here when the arrow is drawn. So we could say can rotate is equal to true. Oh, that's not a network variable in this project, locomotion. And then down here, I'm going to say can rotate is equal to false, because this is the point where he's firing the arrow. And then obviously it will reset to true again when he gets into the empty state for the reset animator bool. Okay, that looks good. Let's save that. And now this arrow thing, I'm going to quickly, this is going to be annoying. I probably should do this not in play mode, but I'm going to create an empty game object. I'm going to call it arrow instantiation location. It doesn't matter what I call it right now because we're in play mode, it gets deleted after. I'm going to make sure it's at 0 and then drag the arrow in and make sure it's at 0. And then I'm going to adjust the arrow and quickly hit play and pause until it's in a good place, and that looks good. Now I'll copy that component for the arrow instantiation location, end the game, go back into my Ranger dummy, open up the prefab. I'm going to create a new empty game object now as a child of the left hand, same place as before, call it arrow instantiation slot, and paste what I just had. Okay. I am then going to make this the new draw hand location and save that. Now if I go back into the project one more time, hopefully we're good. Let's just see. Yeah, that's pretty great. Look at that. He's shooting an arrow. Now, the AI is really not not doing ranger things. He should not be sprinting at me with a bow, but we're going to remedy that in the next episode. But yeah, there you go. He's firing the arrow. He takes the time to aim. He won't shoot until he's looking at us. And I think that field of view is just enough to get away from the arrow, so it feels fair. Tweak this to however you want it to feel. This is your game. But there you go, guys. You have an AI that can shoot and draw an arrow. So in the next video, we will work on actually making it so that this character actually has some ranger-like things on his states, such as keeping distance from you, maybe even retreating after every shot, trying to keep distance from you, etc., etc. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a very lovely weekend. A special thank you to my patrons for keeping the series alive all these years. Thank you to the people who take the time to like the video, share it via word of mouth, and leave a comment. It does help the algorithm, and you are very much appreciated. I will see you guys in the next one.